Good morning. We're in Bulgaria, and it's a very historic town that we're visiting now called Plovdiv, and it was settled by many people for centuries. And there are a lot of Roman ruins that we'll see on this walk. And we're going to visit the old town today. The old Bulgarian town was built on a hillside, and it's right in front of us. So a lot of beautiful Bulgarian houses from the past 3-4 centuries. And then we'll see the Roman ruins. And the most exciting part of this town is the Roman theater that they have, amphitheater, where they still hold performances, which I'll be lucky enough to see tomorrow night, a performance in the old Roman amphitheater. So what an adventure here in Plovdiv. It's really hot in the afternoon, so we got up early to take this tour because yesterday when I arrived, I tried to visit the hilltop village of the old town, and I couldn't manage more than 30 minutes. It was very hot. So we're gonna take a nice tour. It's 7 a.m., 7:30, and we're gonna take a very nice tour while it's still cool. So here's an arts and crafts village where local artists do the handicraft, beautiful Bulgarian handicrafts, and you can buy. So we're gonna go up the village, and you'll notice that the stones, these are the original hundreds and hundreds of years old stone roads. So it makes for a very bumpy ride if you're driving a car. And it also makes it, again, not to trip on any stone. So you have to make sure you're walking carefully and not shuffle your feet, because the stones are very uneven. So we're going to go up here. Typical Bulgarian architecture, where the second floors, they jut, each floor above juts out above the other. Very beautiful. An old lamppost. Wow. So Bulgaria uses a Cyrillic alphabet like Russian and Ukrainian and Serbia. Luckily they have in Latin alphabet the street names also. Otherwise it'd be difficult to read for most tourists. And there's the Arts and Crafts Center down there. So we're going to go up to the top of the hill of Old Town. So Plovdiv, since the 19th century, has attracted a lot of artists. Bulgaria's great thinkers and artists lived here. So there's a great tradition of culture in this town. And a couple of years ago, it was named the European Cultural Capital for the year. And they had a lot of special events. Oh, catch my breath. So the beautiful fig tree. So being mid-August, it is very warm, and with the warm weather brings all the wonderful produce in Bulgaria. They have the most delicious tomatoes and cucumbers, which they make into their famous Bulgarian salad with sheep cheese. Lovely, lovely. One of the most refreshing lunches is just having Bulgarian salad. Okay. Lovely. Here's a monument, which I can't read. We'll have to find out who he is. And then a lovely archway. Wow. Amazing. Okay, so here's a house. Some of the houses are now museums. So this Georgiadi house, beautiful example of Bulgarian revival architecture. Meow. There's a little kitten right at my feet. Meow, he's hungry. Meow. Little feral kitten, very skinny. Oh, I'm sorry, baby, I don't have any food. Oh, I feel bad for feral animals. Oh, the poor kitten. I don't know where the mother is. Maybe it's looking for its mother for milk. Hopefully the mother comes back. Oh, poor kitty. Anyway, beautiful house. I like how that wooden balcony juts out. You could sit at a little table and chair, sit on the balcony. Okay. Onward and upward. Here we go. So these stone streets are quite amazing. I can imagine when it rains hard, it's like a river of water rushing down the hill. Amazing. Okay. There's a priest. Wow, how beautiful. It's so beautiful. Oh, it's a church or a monastery. Beautiful. That's a church. Okay. So the Bulgarian Orthodox Church, yes. Beautiful tradition. So they have, again, Orthodox churches like the Greek Orthodox, the Russian Orthodox. And there's about, I think, 4 churches here in Old Town. And there's an icon gallery, the beautiful artwork. And here's the museum we're going to visit later today, the Ethnographic Museum. So it has all the culture of the region here in Plovdiv. There's so many different regions in Bulgaria, and Bulgaria is not that big of a country. But because of the geography of Bulgaria, there's 2 main mountain ranges in Bulgaria. The first one divides Greece from Bulgaria, and then the second one is more in the north towards the Romanian border. And here's another museum exhibition, and Slatleo Bovlejuv. I'm massacring all the names. And there's a ballet poster. Oh, it's an old poster. Okay. So the ballet di Milano, Balletto di Milano. Anyway, they love culture in this city. They're not only in summer, the festival in summer, but they have a beautiful theater. It's not that big, but a beautiful theater all year round with a theater company. And so there are so many monuments to so many great artists, writers, poets. Okay. Okay. And beautiful hotel, little hotel. And a lot of it is inspired by the Roman history of this town. Okay, so we're gonna go up this street. And there's an art museum, the main art museum up there on that side of the hill. And a signage for a cafe restaurant up there. Another plaque to a great Bulgarian. And it's in Bulgarian and Russian. Huh. So it's just amazing, the green plants that grow on the vines during summer make it so beautiful. Of course, when the cold comes, they'll die, and then in springtime they'll regrow. Okay, here's something else. A restaurant that used to be a monastery. Wow. We'll have to check this out, but it doesn't look really open. I don't know. Dervish Monastery. Okay. And here's the back side of the art museum. And a very nice hotel. I think this is one of the best hotels in Plovdiv. Sits up here close to the theater, so people who come to the, especially for the theater, they don't have to walk up the hill. They just stay here. It's much easier, because boy, was it yesterday I walked up here, it was hot. It was so hot. And here's a great view up. I guess it's parking place for the theater. Probably expensive parking too. But I think most people just walk up the hill. So I was told about Plovdiv from the sister of my dear friend Ivo Kolev of Sofia. We danced together at the Deutsche Oper Berlin for many years. And she told me how beautiful this town is. And she also told me about Sozopol, the beach town, which I fell in love with in Bulgaria on the Black Sea. So this lovely house also has a monument. And we'll first go up here. There's a modern sculpture. So Bulgaria being a former East Bloc country, there is vestiges of the old socialist architecture and artwork throughout the city. Many of the buildings have been transformed into commercial buildings in the free market system. Hey, there's a little kitty cat. Maybe that's the mama of that poor little kitten. Beautiful, the doorway covered by the greenery. Lush. Okay. So there's a church at the top of this hill, and it's a dead-end street. So it's very quiet. Okay, very beautiful. And there's Jesus. What a beautiful sight. Wow. Wow, beautiful door, carved door. And then the painted icon of Jesus above the door. All right. Okay, maybe we can visit the church later, but they're very strict about no photography inside Bulgarian Orthodox churches. Very, very strict about that. So we'll never be able to film inside any of the churches. Grapevines. So this region also is famous for its wine. Outside the city, there's a lot of vineyards. So we'll have to taste some of the local wine tonight for dinner. Okay. So, end of the road, and there's steep stairway. Okay, so I'm gonna turn off the camera so I don't trip and fall. And we'll see you at the bottom of the stairs. All right, made it down the stairs safely. It's amazing. Here's a rock quarry. So I can imagine the Romans getting some of the rocks, stones for their construction of the city below from up here. Wow. Interesting doorway and a private house up on top of the hill with a view. I can imagine the view from that house. Wow. Okay, it's so early in the morning, the cafes are not set up yet, but in the evening they're all open, as that's why people in summer come to this town, because it has great nightlife. You start out, as soon as the sun goes down, it starts to get cooler, and you sit in cafes with your friends, drink and smoke. Bulgaria, Croatia, Serbia, they still have a lot of smokers, which for non-smokers makes it a bit difficult. So here we are, people. This is the antique Roman theater, amphitheater, that's still used every summer for performances. So they're getting ready for tomorrow night's show, which is Jesus Christ Superstar, and I'm gonna see it here. It's gonna be so exciting to see that musical here, given the context of the Roman Empire. And there's also the great view of the plains below the city up towards the mountains where the vineyards are. Wow, it's exciting. So the cafe, and they have a lot of cold drinks. The aerosol spritz is the most popular cocktail now. Oh, the coffee's open. Kava? Okay, let's get a coffee. I need a coffee. Let's see the menu: espresso, cappuccino. Oh, cappuccino. Cappuccino. Okay. All right, we got our cappuccino from the nice young barista. Enjoying the view. You get to hear all the music for free at night, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Say that. People sitting here and
Oh, look at your cocktails. You make all those cocktails?
yes, we have even cocktails at the moment.
I love mojitos. Ooh. But you make fresh with everything fresh?
I mean, yes.
Okay.
Fresh.
So there's a whole bunch of feral cats up here by the theater entrance. I think they get fed by somebody. They must be hungry. Meow. Meow. Well, that reminds me of the musical Cats, because there was Gus, the theater cat. I love that show, Cats, by Andrew Lloyd Webber. Alrighty, okay. So we're gonna finish our coffee and then continue our trip, our stroll through Old Town, Plovdiv, and then get down to the Roman ruins. So you can visit the theater during the day. There's a ticket office, but we're gonna have a performance tomorrow night, so we don't need to take the tour. But what's interesting up here next to the theater, besides the cats, there's a monument to a musician holding a violin, who I can't read the Bulgarian, who he was. But there's an art school up here. School of the Arts. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay. And we can just take a peek down here. Isn't it amazing? Over 2,000-year-old theater. Amazing. Well, the most amazing has been Ephesus in Turkey, which has a huge amphitheater. But this is really a special too. So signage says the ancient theater of Philippopol, which was the Roman name for the place, and tells about the history, constructed in the 1st century AD. Amazing. Okay, so we're gonna go down the hill now. After our lovely cappuccino. And up ahead is so interesting, they have to support this building from toppling over. It's so old. A beautiful, beautiful ancient doorway. Wow. Like a painting. So yeah, this old building is leaning out, so they had to put supports and repair it. But this one is all repaired. Beautiful house. Bulgarian house. And the Tsar Ivaleo Street. Tsar Ivaleo was a Bulgarian ruler from 1277 to 1279. Only 2 years. Leader of the peasant uprising. Interesting. So much history. Okay, we're going to go down the hill now. So this old building that they're preserving from falling over is empty right now, but it will be put into good use once it's restored. But the signage says it was the first school gymnasium in 1868, specially to teach Bulgarian, because the Bulgarian identity has always been there, but the country of Bulgaria has not. Very similar to Ukraine. Ukrainian identity has been there for thousands of years, but the independent country of Ukraine has not. It was only until the 1991 formation. So yeah, the former Soviet Union controlled so much of what was going on in Bulgaria, Yugoslavia, Poland. So many countries were controlled from Moscow. Okay, and this beautiful, beautiful bell tower is the bell tower of the Church of Our Lady of the Assumption. Another beautiful Bulgarian Orthodox church, which I visited yesterday. But again, you cannot go inside and film. No photos allowed, because they really very strict about that here in Bulgaria. Here's another beautiful Bulgarian villa with those windows, large windows, and a very interesting sculpture, which I'm not quite sure what it is. It's a contemporary sphinx, I think, or gymnast. Oh yeah, okay, I can see it now. It's a gymnast. All right. Funny. Okay. So here's the archway into the church courtyard. They're repairing the street, so you have to go through the church courtyard to get down the hill. So the only thing we can film is the mosaic in the front. And the doorway. Okay. And there's the two flags, the national flag of Bulgaria and the Church of Bulgaria, the church flag. And there's another little church up there. I wonder what that one is. It's not open. So many of the places I visit on my travels, you could stay much longer to really get to see everything. So I really get to see only the highlights of most places because I only stay a couple of days, a few days. But I got to know Rio and Sao Paulo pretty well, staying there for a month at a time each. You really get to see a lot more when you stay a whole month in one place. So these stairs I can manage okay while filming. The others, not so sure. So here we are down on a beautiful street, and up the street are some antique shops. Very cool things you can find from the Soviet era still. And here's a Soviet mural. A beautifully restored building, Art Nouveau, art gallery, and an unrestored building, which I also find very beautiful. It's small, tiny. It's just a tiny building, but it's so charming. So this socialist art you can find in former East Germany, former Poland, all the former East Bloc countries. They all followed this socialist art movement in public murals. Very interesting. And this building is charming too. The rooftop apartment, and then the little balconies. So charming. So it's early in the morning, the deliveries are still being made for the day, and there's also a German consulate here. Even though the embassies in Sofia, they do have a small German office here. Bundesrepublik Deutschland, Honorar Consulate. There's a charming little park here. And the cafes. So Plovdiv is really a night city where people are really out at night because it's too warm to stay home in the evening. So they sleep in until maybe 9 p.m. if they can, if you're a tourist for sure. But for me, I get up early. That way I can make my little videos before it gets too hot. But tonight we'll be filming the nightlife. Okay, here we come to the first Roman ruin besides the amphitheater up on the hill. Amazing. And then it's amazing how they integrated, again, the preservation of the Roman ruins with the new city. It's just amazing. And so there's a little cafe, you can sit there and just enjoy the view of the ancient Roman ruin. So during the Ottoman Empire, it conquered much of Eastern Europe, and Bulgaria was no exception. So there is a mosque here, which is interesting. It no longer functions as a mosque, but it's historically preserved. And this leads to the major shopping district down the street. There's a lot of supermarket, drugstores, a lot of shopping down the street. But look at this beautiful architecture. So there's no more calls to prayer that they would have been when it was originally built. There would be someone calling the prayer times 5 times a day up there, but they still have preserved the mosque. Okay, so now we can walk down into the ruin. They do have an additional 3D show where you can pretend to be a gladiator, I think. I saw the preview of Gladiator 2 yesterday. It was really good. I love the Gladiator movie. It's from Ridley Scott, and so his sequel, Gladiator 2, looks really good. So, section of the fortress wall of Philippopolis, built in 172 AD under the reign of Emperor Marcus Aurelius. After the Gothic invasion of 251, the wall continued being vital to the safety of the city. Very interesting history. So you can feel like a gladiator, really, coming through here. And then there's some old remnants with Latin. If you're up on your Latin, you can read that. I'm not. I never studied Latin. But this feels like a gladiator entrance, doesn't it? Hail Caesar! We salute thee for those who are about to die. No. Okay. So here's the seating. Amazing, with the original stone carved work into the seats up the aisle. That is amazing. Wow. So it must be 8 o'clock, time to go to church. And above is a beautiful Art Nouveau building. So from the year 150 or whatever to the year 1900, almost 2 centuries of architecture right next to each other. Amazing. And here's a signage. The stadium had an original drain system. Wow. The first row seats, canal. The rainwater drained out of here. Wow. The Romans really were smart with all their inventions, like the baths, the Roman baths, how they could heat up the water, and swimming pools. So here's the entrance to the cafe for later in the day. This is really unique. I've never visited a site that had such a combination of old and new. Amazing. There's a good view of the mosque. And they're advertising the opera. So every year they choose 3 operas. I'm not here for any of the opera productions, just the musical. But here's a good idea of what it's like. Performances. Also, there's a display of photography competition that they had here. So very interesting to look at all the photography from around the world that's submitted. Okay, so we're going to continue to the next Roman site. And it's down the pedestrian street. Oh, there's Aida. They are doing Aida next week, but I won't be here. So all the lovely different styles of architecture. So this is more a 1930s modern, which came right after the Art Nouveau movement. Oh, this is funny. Okay, maybe we got to film later in the day when they're open, because somebody came up with a business concept of selling candy to kids. Hansel and Gretel, and they made the witch all friendly, not scary at all. It's like, oh yeah, she's a witch, but she's friendly, which is not like the true story. Funny. And here's a building that really needs some repair. It's sad to see buildings falling apart. They really need to get this one fixed up. Oh well. It takes money. Like the next door neighbor is all fixed up, beautiful. And around the world there's H&M, disposable fashion, which is not good for the environment at all. America, so many people buy an outfit just to wear once and then they get rid of it. So it's not very good to have low price fashion. Okay, continuing our tour down the pedestrian shopping district. Again, some more beautiful architecture being restored. And then there's the City Gallery of Fine Art, where you can see and purchase beautiful Bulgarian art. All the detail of the architecture is fantastic. So there's a shopping center here, very interesting. It's a shopping mall. The interior is done in a very Las Vegas style of pseudo-Roman architecture. It's funny. Reminds me of Caesar's Palace. Anyway, they have all these little details in the shopping mall. Very Las Vegas. Amazing. Now, who doesn't like to look at a strong muscle man? How funny. Another product that Bulgaria produces are roses. In the center of the country, there are millions and millions of roses grown to make perfume. So the rose of Bulgaria is a very famous export. And here's a poster for Queen. Next month, there's a cover band that does Queen music. Lovely Art Nouveau building up right there. Oh. And the poster for Aida next week. And here's the back of the theater, the indoor theater they have, with the season from September to June. And then in summer, they move to the Roman amphitheater. Here's the interesting, the opera sells tickets here during the day. There's a little kiosk, somebody gets, they open up and they sit there, sell the tickets for the performance at the Roman amphitheater. Some more beautiful architecture in the style of Vienna and Art Nouveau from 1922. Beautiful, so much beautiful architecture. There's a beautiful doorway. That's why I really travel, is to see the architecture of different cities. All right, here is the entrance to the theater that we saw. And the theater is actually up. You have to go up these stairs to get to the theater. So they did have to make a little elevator to make it accessible for people who cannot walk. But there's their theater. And the playbill for September. In Bulgarian, of course. A flower stand. Beautiful flowers. And McDonald's, look at that. McDonald's spelled in Bulgarian. Okay. And the competition to McDonald's is Hesburger. I believe Hesburger is from Finland. And they have, I've seen them throughout Eastern Europe. I'm not quite sure how many European countries they've been to, but Hesburger is trying to compete with McDonald's. So we're coming up to a beautiful square with a large fountain. So in the afternoon, people sit here underneath the shade and enjoy the fountain with a ice cream. And behind the fountain is a city hall. A beautiful building. And there's a beautiful Atlas House, luxury suites. Interesting architecture, how they put these little plastic seats. So you don't have to sit on the stone, you just sit on these little plastic round things. Interesting. Now here's a monument, the Witness. After the coup on September 9th, 1944, political changes took place in Bulgaria. In order to impose itself, the new regime resorted to the physical destruction of the political and intellectual elite of the Kingdom of Bulgaria. So it's a monument to all the people who suffered under communism because communism was forced upon most of the East Bloc. They did not choose it, but the Red Army, because they took most of Eastern Europe from the Nazis, they forced communism on so many people, which they would have chosen a different system. Anyway, sad history. But on the bright note, here at City Hall, they have free water. This water is provided by the municipality of Plovdiv free of charge. Nice. So, in the heat of summer, everyone should hydrate, and they give you free water. So, a big competition in Europe to Starbucks is Costa Coffee. Costa Coffee is probably almost in every European country. I haven't seen a Starbucks here yet, but there's Costa Coffee and a Subway. So the Subway franchise is global too, along with McDonald's. Oh, beautiful. This is really a beautiful building. Wow. The face, it looks like a kitty cat almost. Funny. Beautiful facade. And as we exit the pedestrian shopping zone, we come to a huge building that was built during socialist time. So it was a multi-purpose building. It had the post office, it's a telegraph, and they have also had a theater in it. Very strange. But again, it's so fascinating to see the remnants of socialism and how it is adapted, because now they sell rent out space to businesses and have shops. So we come to the next Roman ruin site, the Forum. So this was the forum of the town, and much of it has been reconstructed, I believe. They took what remnants and built the columns. Okay, we got to get some post stamps. I bought some postcards, so let's go into the post office and see if we can get some stamps. Okay, I got my postcards sent off, and interesting that the lady behind the counter actually gave me some glue to adhese the stamps to the postcards, because I don't think they don't have it self-adhesive stamps that you lick, so I had to glue them onto the postcard. For interesting. Anyway, we're gonna look at the front of this socialistic building, and there's another Roman ruin on the other side. So there's a lady proclaiming socialism. Very beautiful lady in stone. And a very large square here. Very large. Amazing. So there's an old building, and then a socialist building, and then an old hotel that they revamped into a Ramada. Supposedly it's very nice. They have a swimming pool and a casino. And then here's the front of this building, and it says theater. So there was a theater inside, but doesn't function anymore. But they have a Pepco, which is a small department store. And here we have the Roman ruins. So you can see it was a road, the Roman road. the stones that the Romans laid out for the city. And then I guess they had houses. Those were house foundations along the road. And it is totally accessible. You just go down and you can walk down there. Interesting. So they're not afraid of anyone damaging the site, I guess. And from here you can see the old town. We were up there at that church on the hill, the old town on the hill. And so we were up there, now we're down. And what's really, really sad is if you see the staircase going down, there's actually a homeless person living below. Very, very sad. Again, anyone who suffers from homelessness, as you know, again, they deserve help. But if they refuse help, then that's their problem. But everyone who's homeless deserves to get some help. And here's the passage underneath, because they were very smart to build the passages that go underneath the busy roads, so it prevents less accidents, but also provides social spaces. This is really cool, the way they laid out the walkways between the Roman ruin. Wow. And there's the Ramada Casino. Try your luck. And most likely you're gonna lose money unless you're really, really lucky. Like I have a friend who always seems to win at bingo, lotteries. She's lucky. Okay, anyway, beautiful stonework. And the passage has little shops below. And here's some signage about the Roman ruins. So here's opportunity for people to make some money. You can rent a shop space and sell whatever you choose and have a business, a little business all your own. So we have a jewelry, a juice shop, clothing shop, a phone shop, Viva Credit, a Christmas decoration shop, and a bakery. Okay, so this is traditional Bulgarian breakfast, is that you buy a pastry, mostly with cheese in it, and yogurt. So that's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get one of the cheese pastries and a yogurt. That's traditional Bulgarian breakfast. So this is my video of Plovdiv, and we'll do another video at night. Hopefully capture some of the liveliness of the summer evening. But that's pretty much Plovdiv. We saw all the old town, the Roman ruins, and all the beautiful architecture. All right, thank you.